Salam Malaysia Madani. This is Biz Asean with me, Daryl Baptist. Every Thursday, we bring you Biz Asean, a segment where we dive into key issues surrounding the regional economy in conjunction with Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship this year. Thanks for checking in to today's show. Now sit back, relax as we unpack how ASEAN tourism is powering the hospitality industry. You see, tourism isn't just about selfies at the beach or shopping sprees in a new city. It's one of ASEAN's strongest engines of growth. From vibrant cities to pristine islands, our region attracts millions of visitors every year. And in doing so, creates jobs, drives investments, and fuels the hospitality sector. But beyond just travel, tourism in ASEAN is evolving, shaped by changing consumer trends, sustainable practices, and the rise of new regional players in hospitality. So today, we're asking, how exactly is ASEAN's tourism driving the growth of hospitality, and where is it all heading? All that and more coming right up on Biz ASEAN. But before we continue with the next news update, we'll take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Where is humanity? We want the Palestinians to be treated as human beings.
Ayo Malaysia, sertai Malam Himpunan dan selawat Malaysiaku bersama Gaza sempena Karnival Sungguh Nusantara 2025 dari 22 hingga 24 Ogos di Dataran Merdeka. Jumpa anda di sana.
Suruhanjaya Integriti Agensi Penguatkuasaan mengendali aduan orang ramai dan menjalankan siasatan mengenai salah laku pegawai penguatkuasa dan agensi penguatkuasaan dengan tegas, telus dan efisien. Sila layari www.eaic.gov.my.
Terlepas dari siaran program-program menarik di RTM, jom saksikan semuanya di RTM Klik.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت سيدنا محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والشرف والدرجة العالية الرفيعة وبعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
Asean Glossary. Asean Glossary.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you for staying with us. You are now watching Biz ASEAN, of course, and we're moving on to our Market Watch. For the ASEAN stock market analysis, let's follow the report from Muhammad Shakil Haziq Muhammad Zubil, a remiser from the Malaysian Bumiputra Remiser Association, also known as Pre-Bumi.
As we can see, most Asian market opened firmer today, supported by recovery in the US market. The FBMKCI opened slightly higher at 1591.92, up 0.31 points or 0.02%. The JCI Indonesia opened slightly lower at 7926, down 16 points or 0.26%. The STI Singapore opened slightly higher at 4227, up 7 points or 0.16%. And the Philippines opened flat at 6278, and the Vietnam opened slightly higher at 1686, up 22 points or 1.33%. As we can see, the Asian market opened firmer today, tracking a recovery in US market after deep buyers lifted Wall Street from its lows. The MSCI Asian Pacific Technology Index saw two gainers for every one decliner, with Samsung Electronic, Advantas and TSMC among the early movers. This comes after a sharp two-day pullback in US mega cap tech stocks, with the Nasdaq 100 and the so-called Magnificent Seven posting their longest losing streak since April. And analysts warn that the heavy exposure to tech mean further weakness could spill over into the broader market. As you can see, for Asian market, this matters because regional equities, especially in Malaysia, Singapore and Vietnam, are closely tied in global tech cycle and investor appetite for growth stocks. A stabilization in Asian semiconductors could support the short-term sentiment, but a risk remain. All eyes are now on the Jackson Hole Symposium, where Fed Chair Jerome Powell may signal how aggressive the central bank will be on the rate cuts. Traders are split right now. Some expect a September cut. Others worry that the Fed may stay cautious given persistent inflation risk. For Asian investors, this message is clear. Tech-related stocks may see near-term relief, but volatility will remain high until the Fed provides a clearer guidance.
Thank you for that, Shakil. Now, coming up next, a closer look at our ASEAN Brief segment. Our focus today is an exciting one. ASEAN regional tourism driving growth in hospitality sector and industry, with our guest in the studio shortly. Now, don't go away. We'll be right back. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Biz ASEAN, where we explore the latest trends, opportunities and stories shaping the region's economy. On today's topic, in ASEAN Brief, is ASEAN regional tourism driving growth in hospitality sector and industry? With me is someone who's spent years making sure travelers feel right at home, whether in a luxury suite or a business hotel. He's the president and group CEO of Trinidad Group, better known as Hospitality 360 Sendirian Berhad, Dato' Sri Naresh Mohan. Welcome to Biz ASEAN.
Thank you.
Dato' Sri, thank you so much for joining us today. We begin with our first question, Dato' Sri. ASEAN is one of the most dynamic tourism markets in the world. From your perspective, how is ASEAN regional tourism currently shaping the growth of the hospitality sector here in our country?
Well, I think the ASEAN part of the tourism business is very important. Just to give you some facts, for example, 80% of the arrivals coming into Malaysia are from the ASEAN countries, right? So from all these countries, they form really a big part of the whole hospitality business, driving, obviously the economy and growth within the industry. Of course, beyond ASEAN, we have China and India. So it is a very strategic and important part of our tourism industry.
Excellent. Now, could you also share the story? I mean, your company has been around for a while now, and you've been, I think it was 3 decades. You've been in this industry. Could you share with us the story of how Trinidad Group or Hospitality 360, how has it grown to become a recognized player in the ASEAN hospitality landscape?
Well, we started off very much in the lifestyle business. You know, we were importing and distributing cigars, and we were in the fashion industry and so on.
Right.
But I've always had this love for the hotel industry, hospitality. So we ventured in 2004. We had the opportunity to be the exclusive franchise for Best Western Hotels.
Wow.
In Malaysia. And for 10 years, we were the fastest growing brand. And managed to franchise more than 20 properties around Malaysia. That contract ended, and then now, we work very closely with Wyndham. Wyndham is basically the largest hotel company in the world. And we have a very strong and strategic partnership with Wyndham Hotels. And we're growing again rapidly within Malaysia, and eventually also out of Malaysia into ASEAN.
Excellent stuff. Now, you mentioned Wyndham, and I know they're also currently hosting a couple of delegates from who are attending the ASEAN forums. What makes your group's hotels stand out when hosting ASEAN travelers, whether for business, leisure, or major events?
Well, first, I think we're, Malaysia in general, we are, multicultural, multilingual. So, and because the ASEAN culture is quite similar one way or the other, so we make the guests feel quite comfortable, quite very much at home. And I think that's essential, right? That coupled with obviously very well appointed rooms, comfortable rooms, and today's technology of easing the guest movement even throughout the country, bookings for attractions and so on and so forth. So I think our hotels are well equipped and well appointed to receive these guests, international guests, not only from ASEAN but from anywhere in the world, and make them feel comfortable and make them feel right at home.
Now, one of the things that we're very proud of here in Malaysia is our hospitality, or our ability to be very hospitable to guests. How does your company blend world-class hospitality with Malaysia's unique cultural identity to create a memorable experience for all your guests?
And I think, the partnership with Wyndham definitely helps us. I mean, like I said, our group, we work closely with them because obviously they have the know-how and global standards, if you like. So we work closely with them to implement those standards, to make sure that we comply and so on. but of course, we use those facts and localize it. And you know, we bring in the Malaysian touch, as you said, with hospitality and so on and so forth, and how we greet the guests and how we talk to them and so on and so forth. So I think it's a great blend, right, of localizing or providing great local service with international standards that guests can feel comfortable. They know that, you know, there are minimum standards in our hotels. They're not going to get any major surprises, right?
That's
everything works, yeah. You know, and that's always important for them, you know.
I mean, we've heard of horror stories before. I'm sure in our own travels we've experienced, and sure everyone at home as well. When they've traveled, we've heard terrible stories of hotels, and hotels are essentially one of the first touch points for tourists when they arrive in a new location. How does the hospital, or rather, well, how does your group contribute to attracting more ASEAN tourists to Malaysia, particularly by enhancing that first experience they have upon landing here?
Well, as I said, I mean, you know, the fact that we are multicultural and Asian, so at the end of the day, it's about making the guests feel right at home. So, I mean, apart from the first and foremost point they look for is security.
Okay.
You know, they want to feel secure.
Okay.
And we have to make sure that we provide that for them. So we make sure the hotels have multi-level points of entry, for example, key card access, by lifts, by floors, and so on and so forth. Second thing, of course, they want to make sure that the room is well appointed. I said, you know, good shower, good bed, you have your safe, and all, you can keep your valuables, and so all that adds to their level of comfort and security, right? And we go even further by, how shall I say, partnering with our local community or our neighborhood, and offer to our guests and recommend to them, for example, in KL, we recommend to them nice restaurants and bars and attractions.
Excellent.
So we work closely with all our partners.
Excellent.
And then we recommend our guests to you know, use those facilities, if you like. And the guest also naturally feels a bit more secure and comfortable, knowing that these are partners of the hotel, so they will be sort of recognized.
There's a certain level of trust there as well.
Level of trust, and obviously sometimes we you know, they get some discounts and things like that. So that
privileges.
Always, yeah, privileges that goes an extra mile, you know, and that makes them very comfortable.
That again ties back into that Malaysian hospitality we spoke about.
We work together.
Now, you mentioned the local community. I'd like to shift our focus a bit more to speak about the local community. Could you explain how your hotels help create jobs to support local suppliers and also to stimulate small and medium businesses in surrounding communities? I know you mentioned restaurants was one of them. Are there any other aspects where your hotels come into play for this?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, of course, employing locals is, for our group, that's always a must, and it's a priority. We prioritize employing local Malaysians, especially from that area.
Right.
So wherever we go, we look for people from that location, that area, and we give them the opportunity to work. We spend a lot of money in training the staff, you know, getting them up to standard and knowing how to deal with guests and how to run the hotel, if you like. And I think that's very important, because the more we engage with the locals within that community, it also then extends to other people in the community, if you know what I mean. So the relatives and so on, so of those staff working with us are also from that area. So we get a lot of support from the community. But in terms of simulating business in that area, we, like I say, we support and we buy a lot of products from the area, from the region. So whether it's food products, vegetables, and so on, you know, amenities that we use in the rooms and so forth. So we try to localize as much as we can, or identify, or rather give the identity that we are from that area. So for example, our hotel in Kuantan, we have the Tenun Diraja literally all over the hotel, you know, on the lamps, in frame pictures and so on, to showcase that this is something special, only found in Pahang.
Right.
Things like that.
And do you find that when you employ local staff, do you find that the level of service that your guests get, is there a difference in quality?
In the beginning, yes, sometimes. Obviously, depending how remote your property is or where you are based and so forth, you know. But as I said, we do have a robust training program within the group. We know that we need to bring them up to a certain level.
Right.
They are comfortable in taking care of the guests and you know, again, making the guests feel secure, making the guests feel happy and comfortable. So after a while, we need to bring the standards up. So we achieve that, and that's what keeps the guests coming back.
I like that because it gives the guests a sense of, well, they get to experience the local culture. When I say local, I don't just mean Malaysian, I mean specific to that location like Kuantan or Pahang or as such. But you also then get to train those people in those areas to reach global standards. So it's a win-win scenario. I like that you're doing that with your company.
We do a lot of cross-training, for example. So we actually send people from Kuantan, we send them to KL.
Right.
And then we expose them to, you know, other lifestyle, a different kind of city, and so forth. So, you know, people from Johor come to, for example, Langkawi, and they see what Langkawi's hospitality is all about. So that gives them more knowledge, more confidence, like, you know.
And in terms for their career growth as well, it does wonders.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, we've got to talk a bit more about how the hospitality sector is affecting our country as a whole. In terms of national revenue, what role does the hospitality industry play in strengthening Malaysia's economy, especially now through the ASEAN tourism?
Well, I think it's a very important part of the whole economy. I mean, the tourism industry contributes to over 14%, if I'm not wrong, of the GDP. We employ close to 1 million people throughout the country, you know, and we, apart from direct employment and so on, we touch almost every industry, from, you know, logistics to transportation to local produce to, you know, agriculture to all kinds of products that we buy and use at the hotel, right? And all this is, of course, very relevant, and the money goes around in the economy, right? So that $1 turns around many times. So I think hospitality is a very important part of the economy, and ASEAN, as I mentioned just now, is representing close to 80% of our visitors and arrivals and tourism spend, if you know. So therefore, ASEAN for us is a very, very important part of the whole economy, of the whole business. You know, for the first time, we've surpassed Thailand. In 2024, for the first time, we actually surpassed Thailand as the most preferred nation in terms of visitor arrivals into, you know, so Malaysia is the number one.
Great milestone.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And the momentum is continuing, and that helps a lot, right? I think the government is doing a great job in promoting Malaysia, the ministry in particular. So we are growing. Of course, the fact that this year we are the chair of ASEAN helps tremendously, you know, because it really showcases our country to all the ASEAN delegates, you know, that come for the seminars and meetings and discussions and so on and so forth. So I think this year we will definitely grow even more in terms of number of arrivals within ASEAN.
That's great to hear. I mean, just like what you just mentioned, I recently met some folks from Timor-Leste at the ASEAN Law Forum, and they were surprised to see how beautiful and organized our city was, Kuala Lumpur. So I think a lot of ASEAN neighbors, when they come here and they get to experience the Malaysian culture, it's something that they've never, well, I wouldn't say maybe don't have at home, but it's a very unique experience that we bring because of our multicultural spirit.
We're a melting pot.
Just before we let you go, Datuk Sri, looking ahead, what's your vision for the ASEAN tourism and hospitality industry over the next decade? And how can you, or rather, how can we, Malaysia, stay competitive?
Well, as I said, I think the government is doing a great job in integrating. They have a lot of agenda towards integrating ASEAN, and I think if we continue with this in terms of access, allowing easier access for ASEAN to travel through Malaysia. Malaysia is very fortunate. We are centrally located within ASEAN. And so we're only 2-3 hours away from almost every ASEAN city, which is again something unique, you know. And of course we have great network of airlines. So you know that's very, very vital to our industry. Having those direct flights from different parts of ASEAN, not only from the capital cities, but actually from also other second and third tier cities. That will definitely drive more traffic, more arrivals into Malaysia, and definitely, you know, and as you said, we are very unique to many of them because we have so many cultures in one place.
It's a nice little melting pot.
Correct. And not only that, I mean, you know, we have great attractions. I mean, if you think about it, even in Kuala Lumpur alone, I mean, we have the second tallest tower in the world. We have the tallest twin towers in the world. You know, we have so many great attractions within an hour's drive. You can go from high quality spending, shopping, and so on, to very nature-based activities. You know, eco-friendly. We have Tiger Sanctuary in less than 2 hours drive from us, Elephant Sanctuary in hours drive from us. You have Genting Highlands, you know, in 1 hour's drive away. And of course you have the beaches and so on. So we have really a lot of things going for us.
You are absolutely right, Dato Sri, and I've really enjoyed our conversation today, and I hope everyone at home has learned a bit more, gained some more insights about how hospitality is really playing a huge role here in our country now with our ASEAN Chairmanship. Dato Sri, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today and for your valuable time.